Hi, hi, I'm back. I'll be reading again from the Daily Audio Bible Chronological for January 4th. Job, chapters 1 to 5. Job, where's Job? 538. 538. Okay. Job, when bad things happen to a good person. To a good person. Have you considered my servant Job? There was no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. Job chapter 1 verse 8. Nobody suffered more. Nobody deserved it less. How could it happen? All at once the world came crashing down on a single innocent man, a man named Job. It was the ultimate in unfairness. First raiders stole his belongings and slaughtered his servants. Then fire from the sky burned up his sheep, and a mighty wind destroyed his house and killed his sons and daughters. Finally, Job came down with a horrible, painful disease. What did I do to deserve such suffering? He wailed. A cosmic contest. The book of Job reads like a detective story in which the readers know far more than the celestial characters. The very first chapter answers Job's main question. Had nothing. He had done nothing to deserve such suffering. We the readers know that, but nobody tells Job and his friends. Unknown to him, Job was involved in a cosmic test, a contest proposed in heaven, but staged on earth. In this extreme test of faith, the best man on earth suffered the worst calamities. Satan had Satan had claimed that people like Job love God only because of the good things he provides. Remove those good things Satan challenged, and Job's faith would melt away along with his riches and health. God's reputation was on the line. Would Job continue to trust him even while his life was falling apart? This is the crucial question of the book. Would Job turn against God? Job's wife mocked him. Are you, are you still holding on to your integrity? Curse God and die. Job chapter 2, verse 9. His friends were even crueler. They argued that Job was being punished that he fully deserved. The tragedies crashing into his life. For his part, Job struggled to do what seemed impossible to keep on believing in a loving, fair God, even though all the evidence pointed against such a God. Job on trial. It helps to think of this book as a courtroom drama, full of long, elegant speeches. For most of the book, Job sits in the defendant's chair listening to his friends Harangus. He knows no airtight he knows no airtight refutation. What they say about suffering as punishment seems to make sense. Yet he also knows deep in his soul that they are wrong. That they are wrong. He does not deserve the treatment he is getting. There has to be some other explanation. Like all grieving person, Job went through emotional cycles. He whined, exploded, cajoled, and collapsed into self-pity. He agreed with his friends, then shifted positions and contradicted himself. And occasionally he came up with a statement of brilliant hope. Mainly Job asked for one thing, an appearance by the one person who could explain his miserable fate. He wanted to meet God himself face to face. Eventually Job got his wish. Jo- God did show up in person, and when God finally spoke, no one, not Job, nor any of his friends, was prepared for what he had to say. When we feel like Job, sooner or later, we all find ourselves in a position somewhat like Job's. Our world seems to crumble. Nothing makes sense anymore. God seems distant and silent. At such moments of great crisis, each one of us is put on trial. In a sense, we become actors in a contest, like the one Job went through. This book records every step in that process with unflinching honesty. Job's life stands as an example to every person who must go through great suffering. Great suffering. How to read Job. The book of Job is regarded as one of the world's truly great literary masterpieces. It contains some of the finest, most expressive poetry in the Bible. Yet, first-time readers of Job can easily get lost because the complete storyline is found in the first two chapters and the last one. Everything in between consists of a series of speeches, the boldface sectional headings, and the phases that follow, such as hello. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I know. Yeah. 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 Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I am. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Mwah. Okay, there. How to read Job. The book of Job is regarded as one of the world's truly great literary masterpieces. It contains some of the finest, most expressive poetry in the Bible. Yet, first time readers of Job can easily get lost because the complete storyline is found in the first two chapters and the last one. Everything in between consists of a series of speeches. The boldface sectional headings and the phrases that follow, such as and Job continued his discourse and then ELIPHAZ, the TEMANITE replied, serve as markers or signposts throughout the book. Rather than reading large sections of the book, read one entire speech by Job or a speech by Job and a rebuttal from one of his friends. It may help if you try to summarize the statement behind each speech in one sentence and write that sentence in the margin. For example, Job protests that he's innocent. Speakers of that day impress the audience more by elegance than by rigorous logic. So the speeches may seem flowery. The issues Job and his friends address, however, are life and death ones. As you read the speeches of Job's friends, remember that their views do not necessarily reflect God's. The book of Job merely records the friends' viewpoints. It does not endorse them. People you will meet in Job, page 538. 3-track reading plan. For an explanation and complete listing of the 3-track reading plan, turn to page 7, track 1. 2-week courses on the Bible. The track 1 reading program on the Old Testament includes one chapter from Job. See page 8 for a complete listing of this course. Track 2, an overview of Job in 3 days. Day 1, read the introduction to Job and then two short chapters 1 and 2, which give background for the entire book. Day 2, read chapter 38, which opens God's great speech to Job. Day 3, read chapter 42, completing the pilot of Job. Now turn to page 9 for your next track 2 reading project. Track 3, all of Job in 41 days. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, and 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42. 42. Job, chapter 1, verse 12 to chapter 2, verse 6. The extent of Satan's power. Job's portrayal of Satan echoes the story in Genesis 3. Satan has supernatural power to oppress people, but is restrained by God. As John Newton said, Satan can only go to the end of his chain. The Bible records at least one other instance where Satan specifically asked permission to attack an individual. Luke chapter 22, verses 31 and 32. Oops. And 32. Prologue. Job chapter 1, prologue. In the land of Uz, there lived a man whose name was Job. This man was blameless and upright. He feared God and shunned evil. He had 7 sons and 3 daughters, and he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, and had a large number of servants. He was the greatest man among all the people of these. His sons used to take turns holding feasts in their homes, and they would invite the 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. When a period of feasting had run its course, Job was sent and had them purified early. In the morning he would sacrifice a burnt offering for each of them, thinking, perhaps my children have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. This was Job's regular custom. Job's first test. One day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them. The Lord said to Satan, will have you confidence? Satan answered the Lord, from roaming through the earth and going back and forth in it. Then the Lord said to Satan, have you considered my servant Job? There was no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. Does Job fear God for nothing? Satan replied. Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has? You have blessed the work of his hands, so that his flocks and herds are spread throughout the land. But stretch out your hand and strike everything he has, and he will surely curse you to your face. The Lord said to Satan, very, very well then, everything he has is in your hands, but on the man himself do not lay a finger. Then Satan went out from the presence of the Lord one day, when Job's sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house. A messenger came to Job and said the oxen were plowing and the donkeys were grazing nearby, and the Sabeans attacked and carried them off. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the fire of God fell from the sky and burned up the sheep and the servants, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, another messenger came and said, the Chaldeans formed 3 raiding parties and swept down on your camels and carried them off. They put the servants to the sword, and I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. While he was still speaking, yet another messenger came and said, your sons and daughters were feasting and drinking wine at the oldest brother's house, when suddenly a mighty wind swept in from the desert and struck the 4 corners of the house. It collapsed on them, and they are dead. And I am the only one who has escaped to tell you. At this, Job got up and tore his robe and shaved his head. Then he fell to the ground in worship and said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I will depart. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. May the name of the Lord be praised. In all this, Job did not sin by charging God with wrongdoing. Job chapter 2 verse 13. The term Job's comfort has come to describe how not to act around a suffering person. These three friends proved of scant help to Job and were dismissed by God himself in the end. This verse, though, reveals the depth of the feeling for Job. They sat with him for a full week and shared silent grief. As it turned out, compassion and silence was the most profound help they imparted to Job, a good lesson to remember for anyone who works with suffering people. Job's second test. Job chapter 2. On another day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming through the earth and going back and forth in it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil, and he still maintains his integrity. Though you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason, skin for skin," Satan replied. "A man will give all he has for his own." What happened? Do I need to do that all over again? No. Okay, good. What happened? Oh, I know what happened. That thing's. I don't have that thing going on in the background. I thought you can get it for indefinitely. There we go. Job chapter 2. Job second test. On another day the angels came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan also came with them to present himself before him. And the Lord said to Satan, "Where have you come from?" Satan answered the Lord, "From roaming through the earth and going back and forth in it." Then the Lord said to Satan, "Have you considered my servant Job? There is no one on earth like him. He is blameless and upright, a man who fears God and shuns evil. And he still maintains his integrity, though you incited me against him to ruin him without any reason." "Skin for skin," Satan replied. "A man will give all he has for his own life. But stretch out your hand and strike his flesh and bones, and he will surely curse you to your face." The Lord said to Satan, "Very well then, he is in your hands. He is in your hands, but you must spare his life." So Satan went out from the presence of the Lord and afflicted Job with painful sores, from the soles of his feet to the top of his head. Then Job took a piece of broken pottery and scraped himself with it as he sat among the ashes. His wife said to him, "Are you still holding on to your integrity? Curse God and die." He replied, "You are talking like a foolish woman. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble?" In all this, Job did not sin in what he said. Job's three friends. When Job's three friends, Eliphaz, the Temanite, Bildad, the Shuhite, and Zophar, the Naamathite, heard about all the troubles that had come upon him. They set out from their homes and met together by agreement to go and sympathize with him and comfort him. When they saw him from a distance, they could hardly recognize him. They began to weep aloud, and they tore their robes and sprinkled dust on their heads. Then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights. No one said a word to him because they saw how great his suffering was. Job speaks. Job chapter 3. After this, Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. He said, "May the day of my birth perish, and the night, and the and the night." It was said, "A boy is born. A boy is born that day. May it turn to darkness. May God above not care about it. May no light shine upon it. May darkness and deep shadow claim it once more. May a cloud settle over it. May blackness overwhelm its light. That night, may thick darkness seize it. May it not be included among the days of the year, nor be entered in any of the months. May that night be barren. May no shout of joy be heard in it. May those who curse days curse that day. Those who are ready to rouse. Leviathan. May its morning stars become dark. May it wait for daylight in vain, and not see the first rays of dawn. For it did not shut the doors of the womb on me to hide trouble from my eyes. Why did I not perish at birth and die as I came from the womb? Why were their knees to receive me and breasts that I might be nursed? For now, for now, I would be lying down in peace. I would be asleep and at rest, with kings and counselors of the earth who built for themselves places, now lying in ruins, with rulers who had gold, who filled the houses with silver. Oh, why was I not hidden in the ground like a stillborn child, like an infant who never saw the light of day? There the wicked ceased for turmoil, and there the weary all at rest captives also enjoyed their ease. They no longer hear the slave driver shout. The small and the great are there, and the slave is free from his master. Why is light given to those in misery, and life to the bitter of soul, to those who long for death that does not come, who search for it more than for hidden treasure, who were filled with gladness and rejoice when they reached the grave? Why is life given to a man? Why is life given to a man whose way is hidden, whom God has hedged in? For sighing comes to me instead of food. My groans pour out like water. What I feared has come upon me. What I dreaded has happened to me. I have no peace, no quietness. I have no rest, but only turmoil. But only turmoil. But only turmoil. Job chapter 4, verse 13, appealing to a vision. The book of Job includes parallels to most modern day responses to people in pain. To impress the other listeners with his religious authority, Eliphaz appealed to a mysterious vision in which a spirit restated Eliphaz Professor's own line of argument. In the next chapter, he hints that Job should turn to God for a miracle. Chapter 5, verses 8 and 10. Eliphaz, Job, chapter 4. Then Eliphaz, the TMANITE, replied, "If someone ventures a word with you, will you be impatient? But who can keep from speaking? Think how you have instructed many, how you have strengthened feeble hands. Your words have supported those who stumbled. You have strengthened faltering knees. But now trouble comes to you, and you are discouraged. It strikes you, and you are dismayed. Should not your pity be your confidence, and your blameless ways your hope? Your hope. Consider now, who being innocent has ever perished? Where were the upright? Where were the upright ever destroyed? As I have observed, those who plow evil and those who sow trouble weep it. At the breath of God they are destroyed. At the blast of his anger they perish. The lions may roar and growl, yet the teeth of the great lions are broken. The lion perishes for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness are scattered. A word was scarcely brought to a word was secretly brought to me. My ears caught a whisper of it amid disquieting dreams in the night. When deep sleep falls on men, fear and trembling seized me, and made all my bones shake. A spirit glided past my face, and the hair on my body stood on end. It stopped, but I could not tell what. It was. A form stood before my eyes, and I heard a hushed voice. Can a mortal be more righteous than God? Can a man be more pure than his maker? If God places no trust in his servants, if he charges his angels with awe, how much how much more those who live in houses of clay, whose foundations are in the dust, who are crushed more readily than a moth. Between dawn and dusk they are broken to pieces unnoticed, they perish forever. Are not the cords of the tent pulled up so that they die without wisdom? Without wisdom? Chapter 5, verse 17, pain. As punishment, God's friends sound so piteous and elegant that it's easy to accept their words as all encompassing truth. Some Christians have quoted this verse like a proverb, applying it indiscriminately to instances of suffering. And in reality, Eli Page AZ was dead wrong in his theory that God was this that God was disciplining Job. God had already held up Job as a model of goodness. Chapter 1, verse 9. Verse 9. Job chapter 5. Call if you will, but who will answer you? To which of the holy ones will you turn? Resentment kills the fool, and envy slays the simple. I myself has seen a fool taking root, but suddenly his house was cursed. His children are far from safety, crushed in court without a defender. The hungry consume his harvest. The hungry consume his harvest, taking it even from among thorns, and the thirsty pant after his wealth. For hardship does not spring from the soil, nor does trouble sprout from the ground. Yet man is born to trouble, as surely as sparks fly upward. But if it were I would appeal to God. I would lay my cause before him. He performs wonders that cannot be fathomed, miracles that cannot be counted. He bestows rain on the earth. He sends water upon the countryside. The lowly he sets on high, and those who mourn are lifted to safety. He thwarts the plans of the crafty, so that their hands achieve no success. He catches the wise in their craftiness, and the schemes of the weary are swept away. Darkness comes upon them in the daytime. At noon they group as in the night. He saves the needy from the sword in the mouth. He saves them from the clutches of the powerful. So the poor have hope, and injustice shuts its mouth. Blessed is the man whom God corrects. So do not. So do not despise the discipline of the mighty, for he wounds, but he also binds up. He injures, but his hands also heal. From 6 calamities he will rescue you. In 7 no harm will befall you. In famine he will ransom you from death, and in battle from the stroke of the sword. You will be protected from the lash of the tongue, and need not fear when destruction comes. You will laugh at destruction and famine, and need not fear the beasts of the earth, for you will have a covenant with the stones of the field, and the wild animals will be at peace with you. You will know that your tent is secure. You will take stock of your property and find nothing missing. You will know that your children will be many, and your descendants like the grass of the earth. You will come to the grave in full vigor, like sheaves gathered in season. We have examined this, and it is true. So hear it and apply it to yourself. Okay, that's all for now. Bye.